What I can tell you from firsthand experience is that when you have someone reflecting back to you what the true heart and soul is of you, your brand, you as an entrepreneur, everything changes. You get back into alignment in every aspect of your life and your business. When you've noticed that shift, when you are able to reflect back in your work, in your words, in your creativity, in the design that you hand back to a client, right? Which is a reflection of the heart and soul of the entrepreneur. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Power in the Pause podcast. How are you doing today? I am your host, Wendy Paige Sterling. And as a reminder, before we dive into today's episode, please click on that subscribe button so that you do not miss a single episode because I release one every single week. And in order for more people to find this show, it would help if you would please leave a 5-star rating, and a review would be a massive bonus. So thank you guys so much. I am excited that you are joining me in today's episode because I am here with someone who I believe is a super special human unicorn. You are just magical in every way. And I get to call her a very dear friend of mine, Meg Joyce. Hello, Meg. How are you?
Hi, Wendy. I'm fantastic.
I'm so glad you're here, you guys. I have been so excited to have Meg on my show because we are going to talk about her secret sauce, something that she is brilliant at. And I know because I have hired her myself. And we are going to talk about branding with intuition, how it is that a pause leads to a business that feels like you. I mean, guys, who doesn't want this? I know I do, I did, and that is why I hired this woman. So let me share a little bit more about Meg with you all. So Meg is a brand designer, a creative problem solver, and a big picture visionary who builds brands from the inside out. She goes beyond the visuals, digging deep into the heart of a business to create a brand that truly reflects its purpose, personality, and potential. With a mix of strategy, heart, and a little bit of magic, I would say a lot of bit of magic, Meg, she brings brands to life so that they don't just look amazing. They feel right, attract the perfect people, and do the heavy lifting for you. I mean, yes, please. That is why I raised my hand to work with her, you guys. So welcome, Meg, to the show. And Meg, with every single guest that I have on, I always love to have each of you share how it is that you found your own power in a pause moment.
Absolutely. So for me, the pause came at a time that a pause came for a lot of us, which was COVID. The world shut down, everything changed. The world existed in one way, and then it existed in a different way a day later. And at the same time, I had a baby. So all the postpartum, all the nonsense, all the craziness, all the silence, and nothing to anchor me, nothing to make me feel safe, nothing to fill in the empty space with noise. And I realized in that pause, in that silence, how unhappy I was in the business and the brand that I had built for myself. And it's funny because I am a designer. You would think that I would know this, like we all just know this, but we don't. We as designers, we do our best to create things in the world that don't exist, that just exist. They come into our brains and then we put them on screen or paper or whatever it is. I designed myself when I started this business in 2014. I designed myself a brand that was specifically meant to not look like me. I designed myself a brand that intentionally existed to make up for all of the things that I thought were wrong about me. I have told my brand story a million times, but the gist of it is I was going to networking spaces where it was mostly contractors and realtors and super male dominated. And I was a young woman, creative, in a business that at the time I was doing graphic design and trying to be all things to all people in that creative space. And it was a really hard thing to explain to people. I'm a graphic designer. Well, what do you do? Everything. And meanwhile, you've got like plumbers and things, and it's really easy to know what they do for work. We all have experience with that. However many years of my business, I felt like I just needed to pretend to be someone else, someone more structured, someone more sturdy, someone more professional in order to be taken seriously. Because why would anyone want to hire me for me? That's crazy. And then in that pause, in that 2 years of everything being different, I realized that I couldn't live that way anymore. And I made the choice to be me. My brand now, I'm wearing rainbow sparkles. Like, that's a thing for me. I love rainbow. I love exuberant color. I love creativity. And who I am oozes through everything that I do. So that when customers come to me, when potential customers or just contacts come to me, they already know who I am. And if they're not going to like me, then why are we talking? I love the freedom that becoming myself in my business has given me. It's freed up my time. It's given me the ability to not waste all that energy pretending to be somebody else. And the realization, thank you, Wendy. Not only did Wendy hire me, I also hired her. And in working with Wendy, I have begun to realize that the meanness of me is incredibly powerful. So not only is it a good brand choice, it is the most empowering choice that I think I have made in my entire life.
I love that. And I see how much you have blossomed. And you bring up something that you know is my jam, and that is talking about energy. And I know that you say, and you've talked about, brands. The way that I was hearing you talk, first of all, is that you are very dominant in your feminine energy, which is your creativity, but you were trying to fit yourself into this masculine box as a graphic designer, right? And so what I'm hearing is that COVID really enabled you to give yourself permission to own your feminine, step into your feminine, and bring that energy forward, and to support brands in being able to do that as well. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that. So, a brand is way more than just visuals. That's actually something that you taught me, because I had never really thought about it that way before, that really a brand is all about your energy, right? You just said your own personal story around how you lived and experienced that. So unpack a little bit for us. What exactly does that mean, and why does it matter?
So it matters in a million ways. It matters because we put energy out into the world, literal energy, physical energy, emotional energy, all the energies go out into the world. And we have the best of intentions, I think, in trying to do something that's going to connect with somebody else, with their energy, with their emotions, with their humanity. Everything about branding is human. It's important to establish that understanding, is that everything in branding is human. Even in the big businesses, there are human beings making brand decisions to try and connect with the hearts and minds of other human beings. That's how sales happen. It's not logic-based, it's human. So when we're doing things like showing up on social media or doing podcast interviews or whatever it is in our businesses, in our brands, if your energy feels hesitant or stilted or uncomfortable in any way because you think you're doing the things you think you're supposed to do, it's not going to connect. It's going to be uncomfortable. I remember a friend and colleague of mine, I went for like a year just consistently recording me saying things on my phone, which is something I never thought I would do. I never thought I would be a talking head on social media. And then I started trying it and I loved it. And I realized that I had a voice and I had things that I wanted to say and that people wanted to hear. And I had a friend and colleague say to me, you can tell when you're recording a video because you really mean it in that moment versus when you're kind of doing it because you think you're supposed to do it.
Right.
She could tell.
Yeah.
She doesn't know me that well. Like, she knows me pretty well, but she doesn't know me that well. And for her to be able to so accurately pinpoint those moments where I was showing up because I thought I was supposed to show up, where it was a chore that I was crossing off my to-do list. These things are so much bigger than we realize. Our emotions and how we feel about ourselves and how confident and comfortable we are in our own skin, in our own brands, and how the visual exterior connects with the human being on the inside. People see that and they feel it. And if you are pretending to be somebody else because that's who you think they want you to be, who wants to hang out with that person?
Right.
It's hard. It's a hard reality. It's a harsh reality. But it's also an opportunity to just take a deep breath and allow yourself to be you and rest assured that that is enough. It's more than enough.
So let me ask you this, because I think you touched on something really important, and you speak into how you know if you feel out of alignment, right? If you feel out of alignment with the brand that you're putting out into the world. So talk a little bit about how it is that you reflect that back to your clients and how it is that you support them in being open to a pivot.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things that I get to do is to be a mirror. I love being a mirror. I was having a conversation with someone who is a branding client, and she is brilliant, and she's an executive leadership coach. And she's just one of the smartest and quirkiest and most fun human beings alive. And one of the questions that I ask people, because I say your brand has not changed. The stuff on the exterior may have changed. The outfit that your business wears and you wear on the outside may have changed over time. But the soul of you has not changed. From childhood, I was creative, kind, and I loved problem solving. Whole life. And so I said to her, what are your 3 things? What are your 3 words that have been true about you? Because she had 3 words. And it was sort of like that fact check to see, are these 3 words that she has given me about her brand right now? Are they actually her brand, or are they the outfit that she thinks she's supposed to be wearing right now? And one of them was process driven or something like that. And she said, but I don't know if that's been me my whole life. I don't know if that's who I am as a person or if it's just who I am as a business. And I said, okay, all right, well, you just gave me a whole spiel about how you're making your own Greek yogurt in your Instapot right now. And like how you came to the decision that you were going to do that based on analyzing what is most plastic in your recycling bin. And in that moment, it was sort of like, oh yeah, okay, so this is who I've been. This is who I am. I am this as a human being and have been this for a very long time. And the comfort in knowing that that is foundational versus temporary is incredible. So me being a mirror for my clients and holding space for them to have their emotional freakouts and moments and to fall apart and to tell them that it's okay from a foundational level. It is okay. We experience things all the time that feel earth-shaking, that feel like they are going to knock
Our
us off our
interpretation of them is earth-shattering, right?
Exactly. It's not actually broken. Nothing is actually broken. You are here. You are alive. You are strong. You are creative. You are capable. And those emotions that we feel in the moment, they pass. You've helped me to work on that, Wendy, is to be able to feel the emotion in the moment, thank it for what it is trying to express to me, and then let it go. And to know my brand, my core, my soul is unaffected by this one little thing that happened this one time, or this several little things that happened in a sequence. These things don't matter. And that's the thing, a pivot, a change, a shift, whatever it is, you have the opportunity to move further and further away from who you are, or to stay on parallel lines. Like, I know who I am, or there's a version of me that is real and concrete, and I'm just going to continue to pretend that I'm somebody else. Or you can move closer to who you are. That is real growth. That is real shift. And it starts with being able to see yourself.
Yeah. Well, and you do that so well. I mean, you guys, I have to tell you, like when I met Meg, it was last year when I was kind of coming out of this, having to go in to like dig out more stuff that was blocking me. And when I met Meg, she was this brilliant mirror back to me of everything that I had uncovered about myself. And what I can tell you from firsthand experience is that when you have someone reflecting back to you what the true heart and soul is of you, your brand, you as an entrepreneur, everything changes. You get back into alignment in every aspect of your life and your business. And feel free to use me as an example if you want. And I'm not saying you have to, you can use another client if you want, but when you've noticed that shift, right? When you are able to reflect back in your work, in your words, in your creativity, in the design that you hand back to a client, right? Which is a reflection of the heart and soul of the entrepreneur. How do you notice? And I know for me, it was pretty freaking immediate, right? How does that alignment impact like what you see your clients do in terms of, client attraction, daily operations, business growth, like, and the energy that you see coming through in social media, for example, because you do design those assets as well?
Absolutely. So the biggest hesitation that I hear from people before the brand transition, before we've even started working together, I hear people holding themselves back from opportunities. I hear people not taking advantage of people who genuinely want to hire them, or not even putting themselves out there into the world so that people can see them and want to hire them, because they think, oh, but I'm not ready for that yet. But our first conversation, I think I got maybe 5 words in the first half hour, because you were going through some stuff. And I am a very good listener. And I recognize that everything that you're thinking and feeling is relevant. Not necessarily the catalyst of that immediate emotional moment and what you were going through in that moment, but the sort of broader spectrum of fear is so big for business owners. We feel like we have so much pressure on our shoulders to make the right decisions and make the right moves and do the right thing and say the right thing and be the right person. I had asked you as an assignment, because I give lots of homework assignments.
She does. Very productive ones.
Very productive. I definitely not busy work, all working towards a really good and fun goal. I had asked you to write your story, not as a victim, not as someone who had been moved around in life by circumstance and by other people's choices, but to rewrite your story with you as the hero, as the main character, as not as the victim, but as the victor. And I told you, you are $1 million brand. And in a follow-up conversation, you said, because I know you said, I'm building $1 million empire. And I said, no, honey, that's not what I said. I said, you, not the empire, not the business. You are $1 million brand. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Wendy Paige Sterling is going to succeed, and she is going to rock the world in a phenomenal way. You just need to let yourself be Wendy Paige Sterling. Don't worry about the services. Don't worry about all of the nitpicky details. Just show up as you. Be empowered. Be powerful. And when I sent you over the brand files, all of a sudden I see you popping up everywhere like, oh my God, she's doing it. She's doing it. And you would not have gotten to that point. You might have gotten to that point. It would have taken a lot longer, and it would have been a lot less comfortable if you had not been given the visual tools to help you feel seen, and empowered in yourself.
100%. 100%. And it was because you were able, again, your mirror of reflection. Like, you guys, it's what I always say. Meg does this exactly the same way, or she has the same ability, but produces something very different than me. Is she has this insane ability to be able to visually see, right, this brand before you are able to even wrap your mind around it. And when it gets sent to you, it's like, oh my God, she gets me. She sees me, right? And that's very much what I say. And I hope has been your experience with me too, is that like, I can see my client's path. I see it. I'm always asked, how do you know? I know because I'm psychic and I'm intuitive and I see it clear as day. For me, it's words. It's not images. I am not artistic in that way, but I see the images. I see the words in a way that it's like, oh my God, you get it. You get me. You see me. How are you able to understand that this is my dream, that this is where I'm trying to go, but I can't get out of my own way? And I think that that is something that a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs don't give themselves permission to like really step into, because I think that there is like all this fear. But it's almost like when you handed me those files, Meg, it was like every ounce of fear just totally fell away because I was like, she gets it. I'm not crazy or thinking that no one is going to want this or be able to understand this. It's like, you got it. And you guys, like, this is the power, right? This is the power of, and I'll say this too, Meg, like before we hit record, you were sharing a story about a client. And to me, what you were essentially, I'm going to say, reflecting back to her in that moment was empowering her to tap into her intuition so that she could see her own brand. And in that moment, she felt really, but you said before that, she was like, I don't know, I feel really unsure. But in this moment where you were able to be that mirror back to her, all of a sudden she got that, oh my God, that feels so right. And maybe there's like a tweak or two, but like, right? So, I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about even just this woman that you and I talked about before, but like how it is that you did that for her, like more than
Sure.
just the mirror. It's like your intuition is pretty damn spot on.
Absolutely. And it wasn't until I started working with you, Wendy, that I realized, oh, this is really special. Like this is a thing that exists in me that is not normal.
No, it's not common. It's not
Not common.
It is your normal.
Well, I don't know about that. I see things. Like I don't see dead people. I see things. I see pictures. I see flashes of images in my head. Wendy, you and I have talked about the puzzle metaphor before. It feels like you're so focused on the pieces without knowing where they fit or what you're making.
Right.
And I'm over here looking at the back of the box. So I actually know what the picture looks like and what you're building towards. And I can help you to figure out how to turn around the box so you can see it yourself. And how I do that is deeply human and extremely empathetic. My favorite story of this transition, it's actually the first job that I did branding in this way. And it taught me so much about human beings and emotions and why this is important. And it was a moment that I could never come back from. A friend of mine asked me to step in and do branding for her. And I knew that there was something deeper. I had known this woman for 3 years. And I said to her, I still don't know what you do. We work in the same industry. And I love you. And I know you're really good. But I don't know how to refer people to you because I don't know what you do. And she had given me all of these sort of explanations in jargon and I don't know, just words that didn't actually mean anything. That didn't hit home because they didn't hit home for her. So they didn't hit home for me. So we started talking. And on our very first call, Our very first call, I said to her, I see your brand. I see it. We can get this done super quick. All I need from you is a handwriting sample. And at the end of the call, she said, yeah, I'll get that to you. No problem. Nothing. Crickets.
Never sent it. I remember.
Yeah.
I love this.
And then a month later, same thing. 6 months went by and all we had done was talk. And at the end of every call, I said, I know what it looks like. All I need is the handwriting sample. But there was so much emotional stuff that had to happen first. We had to talk about her ex-husband. We had to talk about her father. We had to talk about her sense of self and where her belief in herself came from, because she didn't have a lot of that.
Right.
And how to build that back up and to step into this new future with confidence. And then we had an absolute breakthrough moment. She finally felt it. Something changed inside of her and she was ready. After that call, minutes later, she sent me a handwriting sample. 12 hours later, including a full night's sleep and a round of revisions, her brand design was done. Because the design, it existed in my mind from the moment we had that first call. She was not emotionally ready for it yet.
Right.
And we talked later on. I said to her, I feel like if I had sent this to you after that first call or after the first couple of calls, it wouldn't have hit. It would have been different.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, no, I wasn't ready for it. It was the exact right solution for her.
Right.
The exact right solution. It is perfect for her.
Well, and I want to highlight something here, which I hope everyone listening is hearing. And if not, that's okay, because I'm going to highlight it for you right now. She required some pauses. She had some steps that she needed to take. You recognized it. You held that space for her. And then boom, the brand is born.
Yeah.
Right? Like coming back full circle to our topic today, right, guys, is that, it's almost like we want the brand, we want the images, we want the fonts, we want the assets, right? We want it. Instant gratification. Like we want it. Like I remember waiting for you to send me my final artwork. Like I was like trying to be patient, breathing through, right? But what I will tell you guys is that it is a process and it does require us to do some work that requires pauses in order for us to create a brand that feels authentic and feels like our heart and soul, that is a visual representation out in the world and what it is that's going to attract those ideal clients. And Meg, I mean, I've worked with a lot of designers, brand designers, and you guys, I'm not kidding you. Like Meg is by far the best human that I have ever worked with to do this. Like no one has ever gotten me the way that she has. Now, I have a photographer who gets me and nails me every time she photographs me, that Meg then uses those images for her, right? But I'm telling you guys, like it is so valuable and so important, this process that she has perfected. I am going to say that word. And it is a gift, Meg. You are a true gift. And I'm so honored that you were here today on the show and shared your wisdom, shared your brilliance with everyone. And I want to make sure that everybody knows where they can find you. So if you wouldn't mind sharing that information now, and everyone, please know that this is also all going to be in the show notes.
The best way to know me without knowing me is to go to my website. You can go to www.inkind-design.com, or you can check me out on Instagram at InKindDesign.
Amazing. Meg, as we wrap today's episode, is there one final thought that you want to share with our audience today?
Absolutely. As you did so beautifully, Wendy, to bring it back to the pause, I invite everyone who is listening to take time to slow down. Wendy has given me a spirit animal for the year. Well, I guess the universe through Wendy has given me a spirit animal for the year, and that is the turtle, because I am like a go, go, go kind of person. Yes. And because I have the creative tools, I can create just about anything I want in my business. And I shouldn't, and I don't have to. and we create busy work for ourselves and we keep pushing forward to the point of exhaustion. And if you always are moving on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, you never have the time to stop and ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this? And the moment you can take that, even just the first pause, and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Everything can change.
Amazing, Meg. I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. Thank you so, so, so much from the bottom of my heart for being a guest today and joining me on the show.
I love you too, Wendy.
Aw, you guys, thanks for listening in on our conversation today. I hope that you found your own way that you can tap into your power in a pause moment in your life, for your brand, for your business. Thank you again for tuning into today's episode. Don't forget to follow me on social media as well at Wendy Paige Sterling. And if you guys want to jump on my email list so that you do not miss any of my words of wisdom or any of my sneak peeks or any of my freebies, definitely email me at wendy@wendypagesterling.com. I hope that you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Sending you so much love and light always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.